Good morning, James LaFond, prolific author here, possibly written the most books. I know you're very humble about this. You're not a braggadocious sort, but I'm going to brag for you for a moment. You've written somewhere north of 300 books, I want to say. And that's just a rough estimate. That's a conservative
That's it.
estimate.
I, nobody knows, but I think it's around 280
280, yeah.
about, and a couple of them are different editions of the same work. Maybe five of them.
How about articles?
So it's over 15,000. I've got about 13.5 on my own site. It's right about 15,000.
Yeah.
So a lot of people used to write that much a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not, it's, you don't see that sort, the Isaac Asimov sort that just pushes out material without abandon. So, I'm making a bit of a dent in your work, mostly the science fiction. I also delve into the nonfiction. But something crossed my mind. You really, it seems like when given the opportunity to write something, somebody provides a prompt, or a request, you'll honor it through to the end. You do this sort of thing. I'm not encouraging the audience to do so. The man is already bushwhacked in material. But I did want to ask, and we talked about this earlier. Are there projects that you weren't really too keen on, but you powered through?
I'm a quitter. My football coach told me that when I quit 10 yards out, right before I broke the record for 220. Okay, just to spite him, because I knew he's going to take credit for my running ability, and he had nothing to do with it. So I have abandoned about 5 history books. Just stopped working on them. I've canned about 20 novels that I was working on. One I worked on for 7 years, had 179 pages in, and I couldn't do it anymore. Um, so the fiction is fun. When fiction becomes hard work, I tend to veer away from it because the other type of writing I do, the history, is very hard to do. History is not easy to do. It's work the whole way through.
Yeah.
And you have a whole bunch of people looking over your shoulders from the past and the future.
You're having dialogues with people of the past. Yeah. Quite literally. Yeah.
Yeah. And people in the future are going to be judging your estimation of the people of the past. So it's a lot of pressure. And a lot of it's territory that's been debated about, lied about,
Oh yeah.
omitted. So
I find that
that's
just
all hard work.
I find that just with my girls and I, they're homeschooled, and we go back to 19th century history texts, American history, world history, and you find that the world is colored very differently by the peoples of the past, and it hit me, well, how much have I been lied to throughout the course of my life? And you've got quite a catalog of works that really kind of push back on the common threads of history, at least as have been presented to us over the course of the last 100 some odd years. So, what's that like to be a what is it? Subversive author? Is that the right word? An author that somebody who you're in your pursuit of truth, you often wrestle with ideas that bum people out, piss people off. It challenges their perception of the world. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say a prose pariah. The I didn't set out to write history books. The history projects I'm working on amount to pits that I stumbled into when I was pursuing various fiction projects. And getting out of those pits is about as much fun as getting out of any pit. It's not a lot of fun, it's just a lot of work, but it does help me write better fiction in the end. So,
Your
I
nonfiction
guess it's for the best.
and your nonfiction and fiction often intertwines, or it works in tandem, right? You'll be right. Be doing a fiction project, stumble upon some historical information that then spurns not just a side project of sorts, a nonfiction side project, but multiple years of study. What I'm thinking, and I'm sure you're thinking the same, Sunset Saga, where in your research that opened up a corridor into a whole corpus of works that followed in the nonfiction realm. Could you describe Plantation America and its genesis and kind of where that came from?
When I was researching the backstory on white slaves in Maryland for 7 Moons Deep back in 2012. 7 Moons Deep wasn't published until 2025. And between 2012 and 2025, I completed 18 histories that were born of that pretty simple investigation.
And that wasn't your intention originally.
No, I was never even interested in American history.
Yeah.
You know, so that is just where I've gone writing wise. So I have written a couple of novels set in Plantation America, kind of my compromise with the muses. So in a lot of ways, since I write fiction and nonfiction and history as a different category altogether, it's like I have a muse and an archivist, and
Oh yeah.
and then some.
The muse is the fiction.
Yeah.
The archivist is the historian. You've got these two. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then some creepy comedian,
Ha.
all heckling me about my subject matter. That's kind of what it feels like. And I assign a different muse to each novel, and many times they're people I know. It's a target audience. Like I could say, I want Richard Baird to like this, or I want Lynn Lockhart to like this, or I want my niece to like this.
Yeah.
And they're my muse for that. But then there's also the people that call me up and say, James, I'd like you to, write an adventure novel, about an incestuous gay lesbian time traveling assassin,
You'll slip into any into any scenario.
It's a chance to try to get better at writing.
Right.
So
even if you write something that you're not exactly, that's outside of your domain, you'll pursue it. And there's many examples of that in your work.
I think it's more of a challenge to write something that's outside of my comfort zone.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, James.